Hi, this is Anna Collins from Anna Collins Nutrition, and today I'd like to talk to you about blood sugar. Do you have any of these symptoms? Autoimmune conditions, inflammatory conditions, feeling tired all the time, having energy peaks and slumps, or mood peaks and slumps during the day, feeling dizzy or irritable if you don't eat often, or even having blurred vision when you're hungry, or feeling drowsy during the day, or that you never get enough sleep, even if you get a full 8 hours. These can all be signs of blood sugar imbalance, and I'm going to explain to you what that is. Your body runs on glucose or blood sugar, and glucose is found in foods. So carbohydrates are foods which are naturally high in sugars. So potatoes and root vegetables are naturally high in sugar, so they're carbohydrate. Grains like rice and wheat are high in sugars, so they're carbohydrates. Fruits, the ones that are sweet, those are high in sugars, so they are carbohydrate foods. And things like syrups, honeys, sugar added to foods, those are also naturally very high in sugar. So your body runs on sugars, whether that's from natural source, healthy foods, or from less healthy sources. Your body runs on sugars or glucose. So what happens when that glucose is released from food through digestion? The glucose is carried in your blood and it fuels your brain and your body. But glucose is a high octane fuel. A bit like petrol for your car, you need to be careful with it. So glucose is the fuel. If glucose levels go too high in your blood, that causes inflammation, accelerated aging. It causes damage to your arteries, damage to your brain, damage to your eyesight, and that's not a good thing. So when your body becomes very high in blood sugars, a hormone called insulin comes into play, and insulin's job is to move sugar out of your bloodstream and into storage in your body, and it will often store that sugar as fat, which can lead to weight gain. So if you reduce these insulin surges because your blood sugar has been too high and insulin has surged to try and clear away the sugar, you can improve your health hugely. The type of carbohydrate you eat is pretty important. There are two families of carbohydrates. Simple carbohydrates, which are fast digesting. So that would be things like mashed potatoes, fruit juices, bananas, grapes, fizzy drinks, alcohol, sugary food, honey, syrups. These things, when you eat them, they cause a rapid peak in blood sugar. Complex carbohydrates, the second family of carbohydrates, they're full of fibre. So it's things like potatoes with their skins on, brown grains, brown rice rather than white, whole fruits with their skin. Fibre slows down digestion and it slows down the release of sugar into your blood, and that is a good thing for the sugar to be going into your blood more gradually. But even complex carbohydrates, the healthy carbs, they still cause an increase in blood sugar. So how do you slow down the impact of the sugar on the blood to keep your body more healthy? Well, what you do is you eat protein and fats with carbohydrates every time you eat carbohydrates, and that slows the digestive process and it slows the release of sugar into your bloodstream. So that avoids the rapid sugar surge that causes damage to people's bodies. It also prevents the rapid drop in sugars as your body clears away the excess sugar. And when people have a very rapid drop in sugar, they can get a lot of symptoms, both brain symptoms and physical symptoms of really just not feeling that great or feeling exhausted. So you can get a bit of a dip in concentration and energy and even mood. So when your blood sugar goes too low, because insulin has cleared away the sugar and potentially stored it as fat, what happens is you get hunger, potentially cravings, or you might think, oh God, I really need some sugar or something starchy in order to keep going. If you don't get those things, your body goes into stress mode in order to release sugar from storage, from your liver, in order to fuel your brain and your body. So your body likes keeping sugar levels quite even in the bloodstream. So when your blood sugar is going up and down, that's a big factor in stress, in mood issues, in cognitive issues, inflammation, autoimmunity, and hormonal imbalance, such as thyroid hormone imbalance. So what causes the blood sugar roller coaster? Eating high carbohydrate foods such as grains or fruits or potatoes or sugars on their own without protein or good fats to slow their digestion. What else causes blood sugar roller coaster? Not having 25% of your meal, every meal, as protein. So at breakfast it might be nuts and seeds with your porridge, or it might be a boiled egg with your toast. At lunch it might be a piece of chicken or fish or a bean salad. So having protein with every meal, quarter of every meal as protein, is really important. If you have stimulants, especially on an empty stomach, so things like coffee, tea, Coke, cigarettes, then those will cause a rapid rise in blood sugar as well, and that promotes inflammation. If you regularly eat refined or processed foods, your body develops a deficiency of the vitamins and minerals you need to regulate blood sugar, so things like chromium, magnesium and zinc. If you regularly eat damaged fats from vegetable, nut or seed oils, so either in ready meals, in confectionery, in things like crisps, or in your own cooking at home, then that also upsets blood sugar. If you're deficient in essential fats from fish and raw nuts and seeds, that can also be a factor, because good fats make your cell membranes, which make you either more or less responsive to insulin, which, as you remember, controls blood sugar. If you have very high dairy fat intake, that can also dysregulate blood sugar. Or if you don't exercise, if you're very, very sedentary, that's going to have a big impact on your ability to manage blood sugar really, really well. Stress is also a factor, so if you're stressed, you need techniques to get that stress down to a manageable level. How do you balance blood sugar? In the immediate term, what you can do now, this meal straight away, is follow the meal plates that I give all my patients and include 25% of every meal as protein. Ideally, don't go longer than about 5 hours between meals if you have a blood sugar imbalance. And snacks between meals can be things like an apple and, for example, 2 or 3 Brazil nuts. So you've got the apple is giving you carbohydrate, the Brazil nuts are giving you some protein and good fats to slow down the impact of the carbohydrate on your bloodstream. I go through all these snacks with my patients in clinic, so you'll have some of this information already. If you eat fruit, eat fresh fruit, not dried fruit, nor fruit juice, because dried fruit and fruit juice are very high in fast burn carbohydrates, which raise your blood sugar levels very, very quickly. If you can switch from white to brown grains, that's a really good thing to do, and switch from sugary foods to whole foods, that's another really good thing to do. Having half a dozen eggs a week to give you chromium to help balance your blood sugar is a really good idea, and reducing stimulants gradually over the course of a couple of weeks to just 1 a day is also really useful. Don't eat any fruit, grains, sweet stuff, or have any alcohol unless you have protein or good fats alongside. So drinking with a meal or after a snack is much better than starting off with a glass of wine before you get any food. How to balance blood sugar long term? Eat lots of good fats. I go through this with my patients in clinic. Oily fish 3 times a week, nuts and seed every day. Avoid refined oils and refined grains. If you eat dairy or milk products, keep them in moderation. Make half your plate at lunch and at dinner, greens or salad type vegetables, and exercise. Even if it's just 10-15 minute walk every day to start off with, that's really great for balancing blood sugar. Natural whole food eating is the key, and combining proteins with fats and carbohydrates at every meal is really, really useful. I hope you found this helpful. Thanks for listening. See you again.